What's going on? This is But I'm Not Wasted. I am your host, Zach Wolf. This is the podcast for lovers and makers of music. Let's go. What's up, buddy?
Ladies and gentlemen, live from the Static Monkey, it's Forsyth. And this is a cover of Monaco. Yeah. Uh-huh. 1, 2. Look. My talents respected, the challenge accepted, these hurdles I've never neglected. And all the dots are connected, I dreamt it, I built it, I break it down, then I wreck it. With all the shit that I write on an annual basis, they're wondering what I'm left with. But I work hard for people to check it, and I work smart each time that I'm stepping. I'm like a 2-4-1 year bang for your buck, like Danny Mel need the weapon. I heard a knock, opportunity or op, I'm ready either way, it's a blessing. Now shit's linking up at the nexus, and my brickwork is like Tetris. They left the door open, so I crept in, without a trace, better call forensics. Hip-hop's a mess and I'm a clean freak, gotta get to dustin' like Texas. Enter my mind, show you what complex is. Thoughts more complicated than a... Plus I'm busy, gotta skip my breakfast. I got vice, so please don't tempt him. Look, it's clear, you should check the prospectus. Working 2 jobs, I'm ambidextrous. I still don't break a sweat and remain the freshest. And I wed the anti-storm, hurricane and tempest. I'm locked in whipping sauce, that's sweet like Memphis. R.I.P. to DJ Screw, that's... I'm booked and busy, grab a calendar date. My mind is sharp and my health is great. The circle's small and the fam is straight. And I'm stacking cheese on top of full plate. I never complain, just mutated. This Bad Bunny beat getting mutilated. Peter Piper's picked a new favorite. Staying humble, I'm too gracious, I'm through waiting. Married now, I'm through dating. Devil on both shoulders, incidentally dealing with 2 Satans. And I don't respect my pagans. I'm trying to be a who's who, baby. Out in Monaco. 8-ball corner pocket on a pool table. Let's go. Yeah.
Hell yeah, let's go.
What's up, my dude?
Forsyth, everybody. Let's fucking go. Hell yeah. Yeah, so which track was that, Forsyth? That was, because that was the Bad Bunny instrumental, right? That you, like, did some bars over?
Yeah. So...
I just gotta say, you did Bad Bunny pretty fucking dirty, because that was so much better than the Bad Bunny track.
Yeah, this is a bit of a hot take, but I mean, Monaco, like we were just talking about this, the beat is like unbelievable. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I don't know, like it was kind of like great choice by Bad Bunny beat wise, but I just feel like, you know, I feel like I'm gonna get like canceled saying this, but I just feel like he didn't do like his thing on it.
Our whole career is tough getting canceled, dude. So say whatever you want.
Let's fucking do it. See you guys never. But no, you know, it's kind of a hip hop beat, and yeah, I mean, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna write some shit to this, and it came out really good. Like, you know, it's like kind of true to the core elements of hip hop, but you know, with a little tune sprinkled on it, and yeah, it's definitely a bit of a tongue twister. Plexus, Nexus, forensics, you know, stupendous, all that shit. So, but yeah.
Yeah,
it's on Spotify.
It sounded amazing, bro. Yeah, so it's on Spotify. Check it out, Forsyth. What's it? It's just called Monaco, like remix.
Yeah, it's just Monaco remix.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that's funny because I do feel like we said earlier before the call, like I do feel like that beat goes super hard, and I love Bad Bunny. Like I actually do fuck with Bad Bunny. I love like reggaeton. That whole style is like
no qualms with the Bunny.
Yeah, but I do feel like that beat. I'm always like waiting for it to beef up a little bit more. So that was super sick. Also, just your bars live are really good. Like contextually, it's like we're not talking to the audience anymore. We're just talking to each other. We're like,
we could be.
Yeah, we kind of are. I guess that's a podcast, but me and Forsyth did a couple songs together. And I haven't heard you do things live, right? It's always like the studio setting that we've like tracked things like back and forth, and so it's sick hearing your flow live is really good, bro. That sounded awesome. So well done. Hell yeah.
Dude, honestly, yeah, and I mean, we could probably crack in this later, but I love hip hop. Like I guess I'm a bit of a purist, and you know, it's hard. You gotta like getting a live spot, you gotta fucking earn that, you know. They don't just like hand them out, and you know, I sometimes feel like a little insecure about it because I'm like, I'm a good rapper, but I don't feel like people like hear me on Spotify. They hear the polished product, but like, you know, it's nice to like let it rip sometimes, and you know, it's something I want to do more, and yeah, so at this point, I'm taking like every opportunity to kind of do it live. But glad you, yeah, man. Glad you fucking with it, man. Yeah, we got some good records too. Honestly, since we're talking now, like, and I mean this sincerely, like, Dangerous.
Yeah,
I love my verse on that. Like, you brought out like the acoustics and the sound and the harmony that you kind of like set the tone with. Like, it brought out a side of me that I didn't even really like get to like leverage before, you know. So anyways, but go listen to Dangerous as well.
Yeah, because you're like singing kind of on that one, right? Like yeah, and that melody's really good. And I feel like
when we first met, we were perfect strangers.
Yeah, totally. Hell yeah. Well, bro, welcome to the show, bro. No, yeah, too late now, so fuck. But yeah, welcome to But I'm Not Wasted, everybody. This is But I'm Not Wasted. I'm Zach Wolf, your host. This is Forsyth. Bro, just tell us a little bit about yourself. Just like a brief background, who you are, you know, how long you've done music, just kind of, whatever. Go quick and dirty.
Yes, I was born in New York City, but like, to be honest, I didn't like grow up there per se, but it was always home. I feel like they put like a magnet in you when you're born there. I actually, lived in New Jersey for a bit. I lived in Singapore for a bit. Wow. I came back to New Jersey, and my parents split. And I moved down
for a bit. You don't mind me asking?
Dude, at the time, my dad, his job, he was like an actual physical commodity trader, and obviously Singapore is like, the busiest hubs and ports for business in the world, let alone commodities. So I was there for a bit. And kind of, it was, I went to like the American school in Singapore, kind of a crazy turn. But came back to the States, parents split, lived in South Carolina for a bit, North Carolina. And then, was always in and out of New York with my parents.
South Carolina? Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you a lot, but was that like one of them was in South Carolina and one of the other parents was in North Carolina?
No, my mom.
Okay, because I'm like, that's a crazy way to do it. Dad's like, I'm going to South Carolina. I'm going to North Carolina. Fuck you guys. Like, my parents went to different cities. You guys did it right. North Carolina.
We got the states involved. The federal government, the country. Legislation was involved.
Yeah, totally. All right, you go to.
It wasn't just alimony. It was like tariffs.
Yeah, exactly.
No. This is probably going to happen. We're going to go off on tangents. For anyone listening, Zach and I are good homies. We connected immediately, so it's going to get way off track. It's going to be nothing to do with anything.
No, nothing. Just about both of our parents' divorces and how they're.
Yeah, we might even stay on this for 40 minutes.
Why did your parents get divorced? Yeah. How is that affecting your relationship?
But no, to bring it back, my dad always like was in New York, so like as a kid, I felt like a New Yorker always, like in spirit, and I was always in and out of there anyways. And then after I graduated school, went up there, and all the trials and tribulations that come with like in your early 20s trying to figure shit out, sleeping on a futon, living in a shitty neighborhood, no offense to the neighborhood I love, I won't even put a name on it, but
say that stupid neighborhood.
It was East Harlem, but I love East Harlem too. Okay. So, no, and honestly, I'll say this because it's kind of important. I was really, I started like, I was not classically trained, no music background at all. I just loved hip hop. I got like the Backstreet Boys CD, for Christmas when I was like 9, whatever, Millennium. And I was like, no, I want the Eminem Marshall Mathers LP. And then like, they brought me home the version without the curse words. And I was like, I want the fucking curse words. So anyways, my point is I don't know. I was always like drawn to hip hop. I think like the words and like the articulation and like there was, maybe more so back then, a little bit more story, sprinkled in the art of hip hop. And I I was in high school. I was like a pretty serious like athlete, but again, constantly had my headphones in. Also moved around a lot, so as a new kid a lot. So I kind of like found, I felt like whatever in a way, like music was my, I was like lonely or whatever. I was always listening to music. And then finally, I saw these kids like walking into the music theater one day, and I was like, "Oh, like, what are you guys doing?" And they're like, "Oh, we want to make music." And I was like, "I got some time to kill. Can I come?" And I went. And I just saw like how they did it on their like shitty
These
plastic
band
microphones.
nerds. You're hanging out with these band nerds. You're like, I'm
Yeah.
a cool athlete. I'm gonna hang out with these trumpet players. That's what they're doing.
I was a competitive tennis player, so I might as well have been a band nerd.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, that's so funny. I was totally
what I mean?
like, wow, he did football and music. I was like, didn't make the basketball team, not athletic at all. But tennis,
I might as well.
So that's cool.
I might as well have played the flute. No offense.
No offense to the flute players in America. We love you. We respect you.
I love Bad Bunny and I love flutes.
Yeah, and we love flutes. Right. Don't cancel us, flute people. The flute people are heavy cancelers.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
they're gonna cancel you on that flute.
You can easily file like one of those like plastic flutes into a shank. So I feel like that. Okay. It'd be harder to do that with brassware. So, anyways, respect to the flutes. But I went in there and I was like, wait a second, these kids can do this. Like the equipment is like shit, but I went home and I borrowed like a plastic microphone from a friend, like literally like the USB plugins. It was like, I had to hold it with like 2 fingers. You know what I mean? It was like a shit mic. Yeah. It's the shittiest of mics. But anyway, and I just, I wasn't paying attention in school because like who does that? So I was just like, starting to write rap lyrics thinking I was like good, and I wasn't. But went home, started figuring out how to record it, and then really it built up. And then I would say in college, to bring this long anecdotal thing to a close here, in college, like I kind of had like, self-taught sound. Like I was able to make vocals that sounded pretty good. And I was just like ripping off like Mobb Deep beats and doing just like any beat I liked. I was like rapping. And I had a song kind of go viral while I was at school. And I was like, you know what? Everyone's like, you got to do this. Like, it's great, blah, blah, blah. Like, you're so good at it. And I was like, really? Like, I kind of always was like, honestly, at one point, I was like too shy to even show anyone. It was kind of accidental that even got out because a good friend of mine heard it and he's like, dude, like, the fuck is this? Like, this is you? I was like, but so that was kind of when I was like, all right, music is going to be a part of my life for sure. And then kind of to jump back to, going to the city after graduating and, the days of the futon and the figuring life out, I was really stressing because I was always like really into quality sound and I wanted it to sound good. And I was like, and that requires cash. You can be scrappy, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it costs money to sound good. And like, really, I wanted to like, really do it. And I, a bit of a perfectionist. So I wanted to sound right. Really everything changed when a good friend of mine kind of like, again, serendipitously, like, I was supposed to get like drinks with him one night and I was late and, and he was like, dude, where were you? And I was like, I'm so sorry, man. I was like an hour and a half late, like not normally. Probably thought I was dead. And I was like, I was actually at the studio. And he's like, oh, like the art studio? And I was like, something like that. But no, like a music studio. And he's like, the fuck? Like you make music? And I was like, well, today was my first time I like was like, fuck it. I'm paying this money. I'm going to a proper studio. Like I want to hear myself how I've always envisioned like, and I played the song for him that I made and he was like, dude, like, why again? Like, why are you not, what are you doing? Like working with me, we were coworkers. And I was like, well, I mean, one, like, gotta make money. And 2, like, this shit's expensive. He's like, how expensive? And I like sat there and we were drinking and chatting, like, again, good homie, like family. And anyways, he, I gave him a number. I was like, this is how much I think I could do an album for really, a really scrappy number. And he wrote me a check that night. I walked out of there with a couple grand check. And,
damn, bro, what a
that was the first album that I put out.
Wow.
Great friend. I've been slowly paying him back, as I said, I would over time. And Yeah, well, that check he wrote me produced Somewhere in Between, which was my first album.
Cool.
I was just, at that point, you know, I don't know. I was just convinced I'm going to do it. And now, fast forward, looking back, it's like, we talk more about this later because I know one of your questions is probably pertinent too, and I've been rambling long enough. But yeah, it all really started there.
That's really cool, bro. Like, that's crazy. It's so cool because, like, something I always think about, even more so doing this podcast, is like literally everybody in the world started somewhere, right? Like, Eminem
In
started
theory.
somewhere. Yeah, right. But like, it's like, there's not like no one. I mean, obviously, unless your dad is like fucking a huge celebrity, like you started by being like, I don't have anything going in this, but I want to do it, and I'm like gonna like do my first fucking studio session at $100 an hour, and my friend's gonna pay for it. But I have no audience. I'm not famous. Like everybody, the biggest artists in the world, like have that version of that story, which is fucking crazy, you know?
Yeah, I've thought about this a lot because I mean, naturally in a creative space, and if you like people admire what you do, they're like, oh, where did you start? And like, it's just passion because it doesn't make any logical sense. Like,
Yeah.
why the fuck would I spend all this time with potentially no type of return at all?
Yeah.
Why would I like spend hours and hours of my free time, my life, my very, depending on what you believe, my one life,
Totally.
and it's just like, I think, it's just passion, and like it's somehow like, you can't imagine your day or your life being without it. So, yeah. And I see that in a lot. I mean, I see that in you, I see that in a lot of like creatives who end up, going on to have some version of success. Success is never guaranteed, but I think this is like me gonna butcher like a Kobe Bryant quote, but I think about this all the time because it just applies to like everything in life. He's like, something like this, it's like, if you do something, at your highest level consistently over an extended period of time, a long period of time, you just keep, trying to like hit this benchmark, excel, learn, and grow, and you are persistent about that, you will obtain some level of success. And I like the fact that it said some because it's like, it almost makes it, again, so simple, so obvious, but like it's the consistency and the will and the passion. When no one gives an absolute fuck about what you're doing, you probably maybe still are not good enough for them to give a fuck. Like, and you just still are like, have this blind dedication to that. So anyways, I'm just rambling on.
I love that, bro. That's amazing. And I totally agree. And I've been reading this book by this guy named Colin Higginbottom, I think. He's like an entrepreneur dude. He's also like a pastor low key, so I'm sure he would appreciate me saying fuck a lot on this podcast, quoting him. But he's a cool dude.
There'll be a lot of
Yeah, no, he's fine. He'll be fine. But like, I mean, like, know him. I just fucking read his book. But he has this quote, and it says like, which is so cool because I always think this. He says, in like 10 years, he was talking about the guy that started Colgate. I guess he like came to the U.S. in like 1920 or something like that with his dad from wherever he came from.
So, like the school Colgate?
No, like teeth, like toothpaste, Colgate. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Not the school. No, the dude who fucking whitening teeth, Colgate, like
yeah,
soap and stuff. And I guess he had this dream, which is crazy. But he was saying how he like his dream was to be the best soap maker in New York. And then he was talking to this guy, a boat captain who he like met coming over to the US, and the boat captain said, in 10 years, someone's going to be the best soap maker in New York. And the only difference between you and him is that you decided it was going to be you. And I just feel like that's true. It's like, bro, like the only thing, I don't even remember how this connects to the quote you said, but it made me think of that.
No.
Like the only thing like standing, I always think like, even as a kid, I remember thinking that like when I'm 50, someone that was my age now is going to look back and be like, I'm one of the biggest artists in the world for the last 15, 20 years because I worked my ass off and like, because I pursued what I was made to do, right? At least that's like how I see it. And so like the only difference between me and that person is like, I actually believed it, right? And it's like, obviously like, you're right. Like it is varied levels of success. Like we can't guarantee what it's going to look like, but we can guarantee like our input to what we actually choose to like either like be afraid and be like, oh, I'm never going to do what you did. I'm never going to like go to the studio and take this risk and show people, or I'm actually going to do it and take the risk, but actually like pursue the thing that I actually want to do with my life and not just sit on my ass and wish I did. Right.
Yeah, dude. I mean, God, I mean, I feel like as I get older, the cheesiness like of what we're talking about actually does fade away because I actually have, maybe like the ability to have a little hindsight at this point. And I'm like,
yeah,
man, the tireless pursuit. If you fucking tirelessly pursue anything,
yeah,
it'll happen. Like,
yeah,
I'm not saying I've achieved a large level of success, but I'd say like, like as a childhood dream, I feel like I've already like, I have like tens of thousands of people who are listening to our music, right? I've had 1 million people I know, according to my Spotify for Artists data. Shout out, also shout out Colgate, potential sponsor. But anyways, like 1 million fucking people, like,
yeah.
Like, and
one song, Hat Trick, how many streams does it have, and what artist is on it? Isn't there bigger artists on it?
Yeah, so the originally Hat Trick was just me.
Yeah.
So and again, this is, talk about the tireless pursuit, and like for any artist, and I have lots of combos. I always like any time an artist hits me up, I'll always talk to them, and that's kind of how we met, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, you're like,
and I talk.
DMing me.
Sorry, man. Is that how? You should screenshot that.
Yeah.
Black man. God, this guy was fucking annoying, but now we're not. No, what I was gonna say, I got like a little off topic there. But
Patrick. Yeah.
Patrick. Okay.
I won't. First say how many streams it has, and then what artist it's with, and then give us a story because I want to give the contextual like to the audience.
Okay. Well, now the song has 3.5 million streams just on Spotify alone.
Let's go.
And originally it was just me on the original, but the Hat Trick remix, again, I was able to connect with Jadakiss from New York by tirelessly pursuing, being opportunistic, and I got him to like co-sign the record, so he sent it to him, and he put a little like vocal chop in the beginning.
Oh yeah. Let's go.
I also like sampled in a little Conor McGregor. I kind of feel like it was like a catchy opener, and I did that before Tory Lanez for the record because like 4 months later, anyways, for all the I think he had a song called like "Stupid Again," whatever. We're not plugging Tory Lanez, but yeah. I did the Conor McGregor thing first. But anyways, then I was like, you know what, this beat has like kind of like a cypher vibe. It's just like it's got this kind of hypnotic like drum like like low subby synth. So anyways, it was just like one of those songs where you feel like you could just, it could be a long play. And I got this really cool artist from Atlanta named Cam James. Again, just, I really liked his work, and he was like a dedicated to his craft for sure. He's from Atlanta. Shout out Cam James. He's a cool guy. Got him, and then I got Clyde Kelly, who actually went to the fucking high school I went to as well. He's a North Carolina boy. I got Jay Writing, who I believe he lives in California. He may have moved to like New Mexico, but he was like kind of like the older like hip hop purist. Like he actually like did shows. I really admired like he, while I was like sitting behind, like when I was not showing people music, this guy was like doing shows at like high school parties. So he was like, to me, a respected MC. And am I forgetting somebody? But anyways, yeah. So yeah, it was like me, first verse, Cam James, Clyde Kelly, and then Jay Writing. And and people just love that song.
Yeah.
And it's still like just been organically growing. It really set the tone for me, and I think it really introduced a lot of people to Forsyth. So hey, that was my one song. I want to keep it going and have another one like that.
Yeah. Totally, bro. And like that's like how it starts, you know, and like just the fact that you went from like no one in your world was necessarily doing it and then to get to that place, like that's a huge milestone, right? And I feel like it's so important to, like, for me, I have a hard time recognizing those successes as legitimate for myself. Obviously, like it's easy to see in someone else, but I think it's so important to be like, damn, like that's a big deal. You know, it's like for me, like I don't have songs that have that many streams low key, but I do. Like I was signed twice. You know, like I was signed to this like huge lady and like manager in London who worked with like Drake and all these huge people, and then I worked with this guy in LA who was like representing Adele and all these huge people, and so it's like having those moments where you're like, okay, I've been validated enough that like this dream is legitimate that I need to keep going, right? Like even if I haven't gotten to the place I want to get, at least for me, I'm saying that, but like, you know, but like I have enough like shit that's happened where it's like, okay, I have what it takes, you know, I'm not just like
Yeah.
trying to make music or whatever.
I mean, and I think you, like, for what it's worth, you know, this is honestly friend to a friend, like, and I was talking about this earlier, like,
Yeah.
you like have these milestones that I feel like I'm like, man, like I gotta get like that. Like, you know, like the fact that you were involved with like, you know, major people, you know, on a major scale is like unbelievable. That's like what I hope to do, right? And like I've also seen you, you know, and like snippets perform live. And I was telling you this earlier, so I'll say it again. Like you have charisma, you look comfortable up there, you're having fun, like, you know, and that's like, you know, that is not easy. Like, you know, like for getting up there live and like putting yourself out there, you know, and being able to also just do it in a way where, you know, you're connecting with people. That's a fucking skill. I mean, obviously there's talent involved as well, but and you have that. So like you know, success is a relative thing, right? Like, you know, totally. And streams doesn't mean you're successful, right? I always kind of knew that. I was like, you know, the music needs to be good. It's like that's like step one, but and there are different forms of success. So anyway,
that's real. I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that a lot. All right, so next question. We out here. Next question is, what are your? You kind of answered the first one already, which is how you get into music. So yeah, you already answered that. So second one is like, yeah, what is your kind of on that? What's your dream scenario in music, like vision for your future, like kind of what's obviously there's different forms of success, but if you could put a pin on this is what I hope to be doing in 5 years, you know, what does that look like?
Yeah, well, I'll give you two versions. There's the holy shit, like this is not crazy, and I think there's also like a realistic one.
No, fuck that, dude. Let's go holy shit.
All right, we'll start with the holy shit. You know, I still have a high realistic one, but the holy shit one is I am, you know, supporting myself and my life fully with music. I am doing shows. I wake up, every day, and like my office is the fucking studio, and my coworkers are other artists. You know, like you know, like I don't know. That's simply I don't need to put a monetary amount on it. I'm not like I don't need to be like a billionaire. Like I don't need to be fucking Drake, you know. But I want to pursue, you know, my creative endeavors in music and evolve and not feel held back, you know, in any stretch. And I want to become like a, you know, like a great performer. And yeah, I mean that I mean is my humble music dream. I
love it.
What about yours, dude?
That's crazy. Yeah, well, I'll say mine, but also it's cool to think like just for the audience, you know, you can have a song that like Jadakiss co-signed with over 3 million streams and still be like working to that place. You know, like you have those things that you think, like even what you're saying, the things that I've had. Yeah, if I would have known 10 years ago that I would have been like signed to the people I would have been signed to, I would have been like, oh my God, I made it. But like contextually, it's like I still do other things for money. It's like I haven't made it yet. Like I'm still freaking grinding to get that point. So just kind of funny how it really is a scale, right? Of like, or it's like a spectrum of success, you know?
No, 100%. And I mean, I think about like up and coming artists, sidebar, like implore you to dot your I's, cross your T's, make sure, you're registered with all the proper bodies of, musical, whatever, because like you do get paid on that. And I do get royalties every month and they are not insignificant, and, there are also other avenues. Like I am trying and working very close to like hopefully in the near future being able to just like live my lifestyle and pay my rent. Let's be realistic here, all through music, which is not easy to do. You gotta grind. So, anyways, bit of a sidebar there for any artists listening out there.
Yeah, no, that's good. And that's our theme for this whole podcast is for lovers and makers of music. So it's like people that love music, just want to know more, and then people that are in the industry too and kind of like how to help out other artists and stuff. So
Oh yeah.
we did Zoom did okay, we got 10 minutes left. Just Zoom just came with the notification. I am on the free version of Zoom for the listeners out there, and so we get 40 minutes.
Hey.
We've had to reset this like 4 times to reset that clock.
Dude, it got real dark ages. I had to like turn off electricity to make sure that the Wi-Fi wasn't being taken anywhere. And be like,
I had to tell my roommate to stop FaceTiming his girlfriend. I was like, "Hey man, can you call her later?" I'm like, so sorry, I'm doing a freaking podcast, feeling like an asshole.
I got my little bro living with us. He's fresh out of college and coming out here, doing the food town thing. And I have to walk in there and be like, "Bro, you got to cut the fucking PS5 off right now." Right now.
He's like, "Come on." That's amazing, bro.
Come on, man.
Everybody's
got to finish first in Fortnite.
Yeah, exactly. You'll be fine.
I'm trying to work here, man.
Fine. That's hilarious.
We can always do a part 2.
Yeah, no. We definitely will. We definitely will do a part 2, no doubt. So I guess my dream scenario, and then I'm gonna ask you the next question, which I think is the most important one for the podcast, for at least I think it's the deepest one. But for me, honestly, I want to be a household name. Like that's definitely where I want my dream, and I would say I've gone back and forth on that because I felt like, it's hard, bro. It's like, yeah, it's a hard journey, bro. Like I'm 31. It's like you think that at some point you're not going to make it. But if I'm being honest, like that's definitely my goal is to be like a household artist. I want to be like top 10 artists in the world eventually. That's like dream scenario, at least in the US. And then I want to build like work and produce with other artists because I produced full time for a long time and I like that, but now I'm doing more of my music. But I want to be doing like I want to be able to be like I can play out a show of like 5,000 people in LA tomorrow if I wanted to. But then I also can call like some of the biggest artists and be like, "Yo, let's like write for your next project. Like I want to work with you too on your music." So that's the lane I'm going.
You're cut from that cloth, my friend. It's just head down.
Yeah,
totally. Keep doing that.
Yeah. Thank you, bro. It's something it's that time to grind for sure. So.
Yeah, and a lot of I don't know, like. And I feel like this, actually, I feel like, because you sent me the question list beforehand.
Yeah.
Let's do the last question, because I was, honestly, that one caught my eye, and I thought it was important, for the sake of the structure,
Yeah. I love it. So, last question is, what would you say to someone else considering going into music? Is that right? Was it the last one?
Yeah. Okay.
Sweet.
Figured like what I was about to say was kind of attributable to that anyways, but what I would say is it's not like a romantic journey. Like I think a lot of people come in and they're like, I see this and I don't mean to laugh, but like, I remember my first song, I put it out and I'm like, yeah, this is it, bro. I'm fucking going straight to the top.
Same.
No.
Yeah.
That might happen, but honestly, you kind of don't want that to happen unless
you don't.
Because as quick as you get it, as quick as it goes away. Yep. The artists that stick around, I'm talking real artists, they built their fan base over years. And that fan base isn't going nowhere because they are there because they want to be. And they are there because you are talented and consistent, right? And they're sticking with you. So that's for one. But the journey is not romantic. You're not gonna put out one song and fucking blow up. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So whatever song you're like sitting on right now that you think's like, you know, the greatest thing since sliced bread, like no offense, it isn't. And that's fucking okay. Because I still feel like God, like maybe it's like, you know, it's like I put out a song now and I'm like, God damn it, wasn't as good. I don't know. You know, it's like kind of like postpartum with the song. It's kind of weird, but you know, no, it's a journey, and you know, the imperfections shouldn't stop you from like releasing the art, putting it out there, and like continuing to evolve, because the fans that you pick up along the way, they're obviously there for that kind of realness, right? And the other thing is in music, it's not just, you can't just be creative. You got to be kind of have a business savvy mind and be scrappy, because making a song, I'm not like taking away from how difficult it is to make a decent sounding song and all the things that go into it, let alone like the creative juices and inspiration. But like, bro, 95% of the work is done behind the keyboard, like networking, getting the song in front of the right people, you know, looking for playlists. Like I hate it, but it's part of the game. And doing those things that are not like sexy at all, are not like, it's like, oh, I just want to make music. Well, so does every other person. The main difference is some people are willing to fucking sit there for hours and hours and hours and figure out creative ways to, you know, connect with people. That's how I got linked in with Jadakiss, right? And then now that led to, you know, a Dave East feature, and then that led to, you know, another Fat Joe co-sign, like shit like that. Like that took time, and I was opportunistic and scrappy, and like, you know, I had a song called Keep Running. I looked at every, like, I put together a list of like 100 professional runners, or, you know, anyone with an Instagram following, and I sent my fucking song to every single runner, right? Just like shit like that.
Let's go.
And then and then obviously like networking with the right people too. That's always like a key ingredient. It's a people business, a people world, and you gotta advocate for yourself. Something I'm not like, I don't love doing. I'm not great at. My wife is always like, you gotta like talk it up. I'm like, I know, but
you're like, babe,
you do. You know what I
mean? Talk it up for me, babe.
I am an artist. Honestly, maybe just buy yourself some hats so people ask you about it. That's a your hats are easy way to do it too.
Okay, those hats are so sick.
Yeah, I gotta get you one, bro.
Dude, please.
ForsythMusic.com.
Come on.
They're thinking that little captain vibe. I got navy, black, green, white, beige. So all the colors.
I need some new hats, low key. I just ruined all my hats at the gym, so I'll probably cop that. So let's go.
Okay, I got another one for you. You can tarnish, but yeah, man. What would you say? I don't know. Like, how would you answer that question?
I mean, I love what you said, bro. I mean, I think, you know, I mean, low key, the audience has probably heard what I've had to say because I've talked through this a bit, but like, you know, I mean, I think kind of just the biggest thing that you highlighted that I think is good to re-highlight is just to start, right? Because I think so many artists, you know, like I know so many friends that are really talented and are so stuck in like creating a perfect product before they put it out. And it's like, dude, it just doesn't work, bro. It just doesn't work. You know, it's like, even if
it's never going to be perfect.
It's never, bro. It's never going to be perfect. Like I make myself get to a point now with vocal takes where I'm like, all right, like I want it to be fucking amazing. But if I do more than a certain amount for me, I just won't let myself do more than that. Cause I'm like, you know what? I'm going to like, I want people to hear like the organicness of it anyways. Right. But, so yeah, just start, bro. Literally just start putting out music, start building an audience, as little as that is, even if that's just playing like bars every other week or putting out a song every 6 months, like whatever, just start, you know? So
yeah. And then I don't know how we on time because I have like two more things.
1 minute and 48 seconds. So
perfect. Well, then I'll be quick about this, but like, stick to your strengths, like whatever you're good at. Like I feel like I'm a good writer, right? Like, you know, like stick to your strengths. Don't try to be something you're not. I think like, I don't know if that works because you see a lot of gimmicky shit out there, but like, I don't know. I'm gonna be my fucking self. I'm a white boy rapper. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna like I'm gonna have fun, you know what I mean? But like, I think being yourself, because like ultimately, again, if you're yourself, no one else could do that. You know what I mean? So, I think understanding your sound is key, right? Like, what do you sound good on, right? There's things that come natural. So, like, you know, try to find yourself like a good engineer, producer, a trusted ear to be like, yo, this is kind of your sound. And then you just refine that because, you know. And then the last thing I'll say,
less than a minute, you know.
Last thing I say is you can do two things at once. I still work like a full fucking time job, and then I go to the studio at the night, and it's tiring, it's exhausting. I'm doing video content, I'm doing all this shit. But like, again, my goal, like, you know, you gotta hustle, right? Take opportunities as they come, and like, don't make time. I guess that's what I'm saying.
Hell yeah. So, well, hey, it's going to cut us off, but this is But I'm Not Wasted. Zach Wolf, Forsyth. Forsyth, where can we check you out?
Bang, bang, bang.
Forsyth, what's your just Spotify, Forsyth, right?
At Forsyth Official, FORSYTH. You'll see it anywhere.
All right. Peace.
Peace, bro.
Hey guys, thanks so much for listening. Please rate, review, subscribe. Like, legit, I want to know your feedback. I want to know if you liked it, if you didn't like it, talk about different things, whatever you want. Just, send me messages, DM me on Instagram, Zach Wolf Music. Share this everywhere across your social media. That helps us grow. And stay tuned for next week. Let's go.